Hi, guys. Well, welcome. Looks like I've been just talking for the last 5 minutes on mute.
I thought something was wrong with my phone.
Well, let's kick this off again, guys. Sorry for the delay. My name is E.R. Wolf over here at Elify. I'm one of the co-founders, and we're here for our Thursday Roundtable Mastermind discussion. If you're joining us live on the YouTube and you've got questions or comments, throw those in the comments below. If you're joining us live, we're going to go through a quick 15-minute overview now, about 10 minutes because I was on mute this whole time. And then we're going to open this up for a roundtable discussion where the community can get together and start talking about this. And look, we've talked about living a life by design. We've talked about the attributes on the wheel of life, if you've been plugged into Elify for a while, that can contribute to our success. And one of those spokes that we talk about sometimes is the mental spoke, right? And how we want to achieve success mentally for ourselves. And one of those big restrictors in our lives can be the beliefs that we have and overcoming our limiting beliefs. And one of the things I was mentioning is the first step in that is being aware that we have limiting beliefs, right? Being aware of what our beliefs are. And we've got empowering beliefs and we've got limiting beliefs, and we need to take an opportunity to define what those are. What do you believe in? Take an opportunity to list that stuff out. Sometimes they'll fall into different categories, but you want to identify your limiting beliefs. So some of those categories, the limiting beliefs that we have about the world, right? The world that we live in and what we believe about that world, whether that's true or false, we have drawn up some beliefs based on our childhood, our past experience, all of that type of stuff. We also have limiting beliefs about other people, right? It's just the way we believe how other people are, and it could be other segments of people, etc. The limiting beliefs we have about ourselves, and even some of these entitlement beliefs that I see all the time are still limiting beliefs. So the first step is we want to be aware of what those beliefs are. I want to go through the top 10 that I came across just to jog your memory. And it's funny because I was looking at the top two, and they're totally on opposite ends of the spectrum. And I see people get caught in that limiting belief trap all the time, right? Fear of success. How many of you are afraid of success? I might be successful. Oh no, what would I do with that success? Oh my gosh, it'd be so different than where I am now. And you start to limit yourself based on a fear of success. So you don't even try. Or what about the opposite of that? A fear of failure. I can't fail if I don't try. Think about that, right? So fear of success, fear of failure, those are the top two. Isn't that crazy? Fear that we are not good enough. I'm going to tell you right now, you are good enough. You have to have confidence and faith in yourself, first and foremost, that in essence, everybody is good enough, right? But that decision is up to them. But do you have a fear that you are not good enough? Or a fear that we are, not being loved or unlovable? Okay, I mean, these are all things that can really hold us back. A fear of rejection to some degree, assigning negative attributes to certain achievements, right? These are the beliefs that we may have in other people or other groups, right? Like rich people are ... and it's this idea that we put in ourselves. So we're going to avoid working towards that category because we don't want to be like we perceive those other people to be. Same thing, successful people are ... And we've built this belief on that. Healthy and fit people are, ... And you sort of fill in the blanks based on your belief. Or a fear of greatness, that we don't want to strive to be successful or strive to be great. I know we talk a lot about the Born to Win and Zig and all of his teachings and stuff like that. And he said, there's a path to success, but there's a reason why not everybody is successful. And it's really two reasons, right? Some people don't want to be successful, and that could be created by their limiting beliefs or even restricted by their limiting beliefs. And some people don't want to do what it takes to be successful. So those are two big things that we want to be thinking about. Some people think that they are undeserving or unworthy of success. Do you feel that way right now? Do you feel like it's for everybody else, but I'm not worthy of it? I'm down here type of thing. Again, these are all things that are holding us back. Some of us think we have to work harder or longer in order to do stuff. And we always talk about you got to work smarter, not harder. and that there are different paths to achieve stuff. There's always going to be multiple paths to go from point A to point B. I'm here centrally located just outside of Denver, Colorado. Look, if I want to get to LA, I've got a lot of different options. If I want to get to New York, I've got a lot of different options. It's not a one size fits all, and we have to be aware of that. There are all these other things that could potentially be holding us back, but the first step is to be aware. So make your list. What are your empowering beliefs? What are your limiting beliefs? That's the first step. Then you want to question your beliefs, right? What if I'm wrong? And play out that scenario. What if you're wrong right now about one of your beliefs? How would that change your world? And what I love about asking the question, I was saying this while I was muted, is one of two outcomes happens. When you question things, one of two outcomes happens. Either your question gets answered and it validates your belief, right? Or your question leads you in an alternative direction. I mean, those are the outcomes. So asking those questions, even about your empowering beliefs and your limiting beliefs, can be very, very helpful. Another thing, testing your beliefs. Is this true? I mean, we should be scientists about that if it plays such an important role in the outcome of what we're working on. Actually test that belief. Am I unworthy? Am I not good enough? Am I fearful of success? And then play that out on a small scale. Ask yourself, how are your beliefs serving you? Is this a good belief? I mean, some beliefs, they could help you avoid danger. I believe I can fly, right? Like, no, guys, come on. There are certain limitations, but we want to explore this because it has an impact on what we do and how we get there. And then we want to address those things because we can create alternative beliefs. We talked on Monday and I gave that weird quote, and it was like, if you tell a lie loud enough, long enough, and often enough, people will believe it. Did you know that? If you tell a lie loud enough, long enough, and often enough, you'll believe it. And I think that's what our limiting beliefs are, independent of where they stem from, whether that's childhood, whether that's the experiences growing up. We start to tell ourselves these things. And whether we experience them or not, we reiterate that thought over and over and over again until it becomes this affirmative belief. This is what it is. This is the way it is. And the reality in most cases is that's just not the case. In addition to that, the alternative is true, right? If we want to create an alternative belief, we can create a mantra about that, or we can repeat that process for ourselves until we start to believe it. It's like adopting a new habit. Repetitions will help you. And we need to be able to test our alternative beliefs. Maybe I am worthy of success. Maybe I can avoid failure. What if I am good enough? What if I am lovable and can be loved? These are all things that what if people don't reject me? What if I go up and I talk to somebody and they actually talk back? This is very powerful stuff that I think we can all be working on. So, I'm going to give you 4 steps before we close out this live that any of us can take as sort of a reminder. We want to identify our beliefs and take some time to identify them. This is an exercise that's supposed to help each and every one of us take a step forward. Okay. But we have to identify our limiting beliefs, right? The first step to overcoming a limiting belief is to define and identify it. Limiting beliefs are the ideas we hold about ourselves and the world around us that prevent us from becoming the best version of ourselves. And they're holding us back in a variety of ways and making us feel like we aren't deserving of success, guys. These are all things that we're in our head about. Nobody else is even seeing this. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know how you're holding yourself back. Once you've done that, the next step is to take responsibility. We need to take responsibility, guys. Life happens for us, not to us. Okay, we need to take some responsibility, and we need to choose to believe that our circumstances are not beyond our control. Your circumstances are within your control, guys, and you can make choices that ultimately determine your outcome, right? Again, life happens for you, not to you. So don't just be a wandering generality out there thinking life is happening to you. Take the bull by the horns and make life happen for you. There's going to be all these events and items that are outside of our control, and we have to recognize that, right? But what we can control is how we react to those things and how we understand that those things are outside of our control. In some case, part of addressing our limiting beliefs is mastering some of our emotions. Again, these are things that play a role as we work towards achieving success, but they're not widely talked about. We have to say, look, every attempt we want to answer, did I do my best? Right? Did you do your best, or did you mute yourself for some reason? And if you did your best and you failed, what did you learn so that when you do it again, you can grow from that experience, guys? It's not like, oh, I didn't do my best and I failed and I'm not going to do it ever again. Guys, that's going to limit us so much and restrict us from really overcoming and achieving what we want to achieve. Because the reality is, anytime we try something, especially for the first time, we may not be successful at it. I use the bike riding analogy a lot this week. And it's so true. And maybe that's true in my head because my son, who just turned 4, got his first big boy pedal bike. And I've been watching this progression as a child learns to ride a bike, right? Learning something new for the first time is hard for all of us, whether that's technology or whether it's bicycles, whether that's business and running a new opportunity, or learning to swim, guys. There's a process involved in all of this, and it's very few and far between that any one individual is successful right out of the gate. Yet when that happens, when that exception rather than the rule happens, everybody points to that like as if that's the thing that's supposed to happen to everybody. Have you ever realized that? We sort of praise it. All right, this person got sat on a bike and immediately started riding. What's wrong with you? And the case is, nothing's wrong with you. There's a process. We had my son on a little Strider bike, and it was fun to see him because he didn't have pedals and he could sort of walk around and balance a little bit. And eventually he learned that the faster he went on this Strider bike, the longer he could glide. And so we separated it. It's not pedaling and balancing, it's just balancing. And then he had a little tricycle that he used to ride. He didn't have to worry about balancing because it had 3 wheels, and he could just get used to the pedaling. And now we're in this process of putting those 2 steps together. And again, there's hesitation, there's a wobbliness. He's got some training wheels, but it's part of a progression. How do I know this? I learned to ride a bike. You probably learned to ride a bike. His big sister learned to ride a bike. And there was a progress to that, right? Let go of certainty, guys. Let go of certainty. Why is it so difficult to overcome our limiting beliefs? And it's because we crave this certainty. We have to have or work in absolutes. And the reality is the world around us isn't absolute. There's so much flexibility and gray area in everything that we have to recognize and understand that. And then finally, what I was talking about, right? We have to change our self-talk. Again, if we tell it to ourselves long enough, loud enough, and often enough, we will believe it, whether it's positive or whether it's negative. So the choice is going to be yours. Are you going to believe in something you control, or are you going to believe something that you've been conditioning yourself to believe potentially your whole life? Now, I understand that, we're talking in simple terms here, and this isn't a simple subject, right? This takes a lot of self-reflection, a lot of hard work, a lot of diligence. It might take talking to a professional, and that's okay. You know what I mean? We have to realize that this plays a role. It's one component in helping us achieve our outcome. So with that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this live stream. I hope you guys got something out of this. If you do have questions or comments, go ahead and throw them on the YouTube below in the comments section. If you know somebody who this might help, somebody you see who has a limiting belief that's really been holding them back, and this could spark that potential change, share this with them. And if you want to join the conversation or join any of our future conversations, make sure to download that Week at a Glance card and get on the live Zoom so that when we close this out, you can participate in the roundtable discussion. So with that being said, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys